become the new Pope. Pope Benedict had resigned, he had stepped down. Something that hadn't happened in quite a few hundred years. And it was truly an amazing that he was elected, but he was. And I remember being here in the studios when they announced that he took the name Francis. I thought, oh, certainly.
Wake, our brain is at what is called beta, the waking level. But when we wake up in the morning, our brain is actually at a different altered state of mind called the alpha frequency. At the alpha in two, but it turns out you're in alpha for the first 5 minutes when you wake up. The problem is most people get out of it by checking their phone. So put your phone down, go brush your teeth, go pee if you need to, get back to bed, sit up, and here's the meditation. This is where you can apply different techniques such as communicating with your body, self-healing, Reiki, creative visualization, and everything is enhanced. Do this every day for the first 10 days. Now for the next 10 days, you count from 50 to 1 and get you to sink into a different state. At this point, you can go really deep in meditation in 10 seconds. But it's what you do at the alpha level that's where magic happens. The Silva Method has become one of America's most powerful personal growth programs, and videos I've done in the Silva Method have become some of the most viral videos on the internet, and you're going to see why.
Jose Silva was a radio repairman who lived in the border town of Repair and figure out how he could change the mindset and the brains of his kids so they could do better in school. As a radio repairman, he knew that if you reduce the resistance of a wire, more electricity flows through it. So he wondered, reading a history book and asking Isabel questions. So he would guide Isabel into a restful state of being. She would have her eyes closed. He would read her the important dates. She would be able to absorb that. And then J.B. Ryan replied back in a letter and said, no, that's absolutely not true. No one can be trained to have this. Your daughter must have been born with it. Jose Silva disagreed. So he continued training the rest of his kids to get trained. Jose Silva decided to call his approach the Silva Mind Control Method. And what happened next was astonishing. A man wrote in a newspaper, but from the time we are born, from the education system we grow up in, from our parents and caretakers who may not know better, we take on so much negative programming. We actually suppress us. The solution Jose Silva discovered is the act of being able to consciously access altered states of consciousness. What is an altered state of consciousness? Well, athletes are proven to go into alpha before they take a shot, before they shoot an arrow. The alpha state is what you're in when you practice inspiration, eureka moments. Difficult problems suddenly get solved with a great insight. Let me give you an example. Thomas Edison, the great inventor, was known for hand would drop, the ball would hit a metal plate next to the sofa, causing a loud clang that woke him up. In short, he was dipping into sleep and waking up, dipping into sleep and famous American inventor by the name of William Gates II would create some of the most incredible patents and trademarks. He had dozens of them, but his method was to go in is the most curious of all, Delta. Delta is the level that you're in when you're asleep. But Silva found that you can learn, tend to be incredibly lucky. Miracles happen, crazy serendipities occur. You might call it magic or good luck, but it's something different. It almost seems like these people who are trained to access Delta can bend white socks. Spoke about how Silva techniques were allowing them to improve their skill on stage or on the ball field. Silva went deep into pioneering new techniques, including and manifest your deepest desires. His case-working technique was designed to train people to learn the science of mind-body healing. As the Silva method grew, of types and executives, and they were loving it because they were learning to conquer stress. But what they did not know, Jose Silva was not going to stop at something so simple. Stress was just one aspect, but he brought the process down to 20 minutes. The rest of the work was done in 2 weeks. Now, the famous Chicago White Sox had 14 players take the Silva method. All their individual averages improved, most of them dramatically. With all of the success, Jose did not become a celebrity, not a guru, not a spiritual leader with followers. He's a plain man of simple ways, speaks with a soft, lost accent. Jonathan Livingston Seagull. This Time magazine is from November 13, 1972, and I got this on eBay. Richard Bach made the cover of Time magazine because his book, Jonathan Livingston Seagull, struck such a chord. It took off. It became one of the best-selling books of his generation. putting him on the cover of Time magazine. I interviewed his daughter to validate it. And sure, let me first say, my name is Vishen Lakhiani, and many people call me one of the luckiest people alive. I built my dream company, Mind Valley, into a massive valuation. My book, The Code of the Magic, seems to infuse your life. It almost seems as if the universe has your back, just like Helen Hetzel did. You see, Helen was doing what all us Silva graduates know. She was a master at bending and making absolutely nothing. The economy was so bad, they were not paying a base salary. It was either sell a software and get a 20% cut, or you don't get to eat that week. I was seeing my bank account gather the few $100s I have, fly to LA and take this class, especially because it seemed to promise so much: improving sales, manifesting your dream life, bringing you out of a depression. And this seminar in LA was being taught by a pharmaceutical salesperson. When I met her, she explained that she had used these techniques to overcome the agony of a truck she was driving. Furthermore, she said she had used it to meet the man of her dreams. And that's why, in addition to all of this, she decided to give back to others by getting trained in the Silva method so she could teach this class. That was enough for me. If I could get just 10, I was programmed with beliefs and ideas that were holding me back. And I'd literally shut myself down to human abilities that Jose Silva had showed that we all have, but so few use. I flew back to San Francisco, theta level of mind, and tap into intuition. You see, back then, we had to check out the yellow pages. Remember that big, heavy book? We had to check out the yellow pages from the San Francisco Public Library. And I had to call every law firm in that this was the right lawyer to call. And I would call only the lawyers where I felt an intuitive yes. Now, something really strange happened that day. That day itself, I did double the sales I averaged using a different Silva technique called subliminal programming. And 2 weeks after that, I doubled my sales again using yet another Silva technique called the 3 scenes technique. My boss came to me, replied, "Nah, that's bullshit, but can you keep doing it?" I grew so fast in that company that in the next 4 months, I was promoted 3 times. And they shipped me out to New York to start the company's New York office on September 11, 2002. I worked at that company, operating a gorgeous office in Chelsea Market, New York. And I loved my life. But 18 months, and then this dawned on me. The most valuable education I had in my entire life was the Silva method. This is what I wanted to teach. And so I became a Silva instructor. I traveled the world teaching small Silva classes for 5 years before I decided to go bigger and start a company to transform. I was able to see in my mind so picture perfect using Silva's mental screen technique. Every time I think back, it's incredible how my life moved towards these goals with so much ease and fluidity of the new Silva method to make sure that Jose's knowledge never left the earth. In 2020, we took Jose Silva's most powerful Mind Valley platform to translate Jose Silva's work and legacy for a new generation. Silva Ultramind is a 28-day program hosted by me with core ideas from whole consciousness. You learn how to tap into altered states of consciousness with such ease and fluidity that they become second nature. Your journey begins with Silva's core mind exercise and everyone around me to build a team for Mind Valley to connect with some of the most amazing people in the world. There is the world-famous Silva centering that allows you to go into the alpha level of mind easier and easier every time you listen to it. And soon, you're able to tap into that alpha level of mind instantly using a simple finger level of mind. The theta level of mind is where ideas and creativity flows to you. I work with engineers, and we specifically go into the theta level of mind to design the user interface. Theta is incredibly powerful. Then, in Silva, you learn how to use a powerful tool called the 3 scenes technique. This is an incredible way to tap and speak into your subconscious to reprogram different. Hansen is a former Miss Sweden and a Swedish entrepreneur. She spoke about using the 3 scenes technique to heal her skin. Bianca Andreescu was a 19 in September 2019. She used the Silva programming technique of creative visualization to see herself winning that trophy. This stuff is powerful. Now, as you go deeper into the program, you sleep. If your mind slows down to the level of the delta level, you typically are asleep, you're unconscious. But there is a technique that you can use just before going to sleep to put a problem that you want to solve into your mind. And this is what the mental video technique does. It's a little strange, but once you get the hang of it, this is one of the most powerful mental tools you can use in your arsenal. And people who use it don't have an idea on what action to take next. It seems to connect you to a higher source that guides you to the right path using a unique methodology of speaking to your conscious. You see, when you take this program, you aren't just learning through lectures. I'm reading out Jose Silva's specific word-for-word scripts that guide you. As you say these words to yourself, something shifts and new abilities unlock. For example, when you first start, it may take you 5 minutes to train your mind to get to the alpha skills with such ease. But know this about Bert. Bert was a close friend of Jose Silva, was a Silva graduate, and went so deep into Silva, he became an instructor himself. And then they're all of Ultramind. You'd only be able to attend a seminar maybe once, maybe twice a year. You'd probably spend thousands of dollars flying to a seminar location like LA or Thailand. People in the audience. And these were CEOs, executives, startup founders. But the pandemic made us change the way we presented this. Because we had to shut down seminars, we decided to make online. The enrollment price is nowhere close to the original seminar. Now here's the best part. Silva Ultramind is part of Mind Valley, the world's biggest person. Want to jump into another program. I worked with Jose's family to make Silva Ultramind not just a program that teaches you how to use your mind, but teaches you to dream and think bigger about your life. To maybe Mind Valley's programs on relationships so you can have the love life you've always dreamed of. Maybe Mind Valley's programs on energy healing and spirituality so you can further unleash your one thing. You will never feel lonely again, because our community is a living, thriving community of over 100,000 people all around the world who are so dedicated and want to become the best humans they can be so they can uplift others. Now, this entire package, being trained directly with me and Jose Silva, becoming a Mind Valley member, could be as high as 5 figures, but it's an offer. And the best part is, you don't have to risk a thing. With Mind Valley, you get to try Silva Ultramind risk-free for the next 15 days. At any point in the next 15 days, with one click, you can give yourself a full read. 1,000 case studies that we have on our website. Once you experience the divine spark within you and you see just what you're capable of with the right training, you can never go back to your old self, and you will constantly have a desire to grow, called creative visualization. Creative visualization used to sell for $249, and I co-produced this with the famous speaker Lisa Nichols. You might remember her from. It provides 12 specific guided creative visualization audios that help you manifest in 12 unique areas of your life: money, love, health, success, fame. You're gonna get Lisa Nichols narrates all of these audios. Here are the specific details on how to order. Simply click on the link around the video now. You'll be taken to a site where you can choose your membership option, either monthly. Silva is the single most impactful thing I've ever done. It is the method I teach my children to do, and it has been one of the most important parts of life for thousands of graduates. That is this: when you see the results this gives you, let me know. Leave a story. Tag me on Instagram, or even better, go to stories.mindvalley.com and submit your story. Incredible, magical new life to gain. My name is Vishen. I'm the founder of Mind Valley. I'm the face of the Silva Ultramind system, and I cannot wait for you to take action and finally achieve the success.
St. Peter's Basilica, we see the cross, the crucifix being brought out, and Pope Francis making an appearance.
Cari fratelli,
Dear brothers and sisters, Happy Easter.
chiedo il maestro delle cerimonie di leggere il messaggio.
Christ is risen. Alleluia. Today, at last, the singing of the Alleluia is heard once more in the church, passing from mouth to mouth.
Dal sepolcro vuoto di Gerusalemme giunge fino a noi
From the empty tomb in Jerusalem, we hear unexpected good news. Jesus, who was crucified, is not here. Hatred, light over darkness, and truth over falsehood. Forgiveness has triumphed over revenge. Evil has not disappeared from history. It will remain until the end. But it will no longer have the upper hand. Silent cry has been heard, and your tears have been counted. Not one of them has been lost.
Dio ha preso su di sé tutto il male del mondo,
Mercy has defeated it.
che avvelena il cuore dell'uomo e
He has uprooted the diabolical pride that poisons the human heart and wreaks violence and corruption on every side. The Lamb
è il fondamento della speranza. A partire da questo avvenimento, sperare
The resurrection of Jesus is indeed the basis of
non
hope. Does not disappoint.
e non è
Spes
una
nos
speranza
confundit.
evasiva, ma impegnativa. Non è alienante.
That hope is not an
Cammino.
They let themselves be raised up and set out on a journey,
Testimoni della vittoria dell'amore
together with the risen Jesus.
della nostra esistenza, che non è fatta
Christ is risen.
ma per la vita.
These words capture the whole meaning of our existence. For we were not made for death, but for life.
Dio ci ha creati come quella dell'anziano o del malato.
In His eyes, every life is precious. The life of a child in the mother's womb, as well as the lives of the elderly and the sick,
Quanta volontà
who
di
in more and more countries, in the many conflicts raging in different parts of the world.
si nutre a volte
How much violence we see, often even within families, directed at women and children.
in chi non c'è vicino o proviene da terre lontane.
On this day, I would like all of us to hope anew and to revive our trust in others,
Da quelli a noi
including those who are God.
che la pace è possibile. Dal sepolcro, chiesa della risurrezione, dove quest'anno la Pasqua è celebrata nello stesso
I
giorno.
would like us to
Vicino alle
may the light of peace radiate throughout the Holy Land and the entire world.
così come a tutto il popolo israeliano e a tutto in tutto il
The
mondo.
growing climate of anti-Semitism throughout the world is worrisome.
Il mio pensiero va alla
Yet at the
popolazione
same time,
e in modo
I think
particolare
of the people
alla
of Gaza
comunità cristiana
and
di
its Christian
Gaza,
commission.
ai belligeranti. Cessate il fuoco, si liberino gli ostaggi, si presti aiuto alla
I appeal to the warring
Libano e in Siria, che mentre quest'ultimo paese sperimenta un passaggio
Let us pray for the Christian communities in Lebanon and in Syria, presently experiencing a delicate transition in its thoughts and prayers.
Un pensiero speciale rivolgo anche al popolo dello Yemen, che sta vivendo una delle peggiori crisi umanitarie prolungate del
I
mondo.
also think in particular of the people. May the risen Christ grant Ukraine, devastated by war, His Easter gift of peace, and encourage all parties involved to pursue efforts aimed at achieving a just
E preghiamo affinché si giunga presto alla firma e all'attuazione
On this festive day, let us remember the South Caucasus and pray that a final peace agreement between Armenia.
sostenga gli attori politici
May the light of Easter inspire efforts to promote harmony in the Western Balkans and sustain political leaders in their efforts to allay tensions and crises, and together with their partners and South Sudan. May He sustain those suffering from the tensions in the Sahel the Horn of Africa, and the Great Lakes region for the views of others.
Nessuna pace è possibile senza un vero disarmo. L'esigenza che ogni popolo ha di
Nor
provvedere
is peace possible without true disarmament.
ad accrescere la solidarietà reciproca.
It impels us to care for one another, to increase our mutual solidarity, and to work for the integral development of each human person. Are dealing with the aftermath of a devastating earthquake in Senegal, which caused the death of thousands and great suffering for the many survivors, including orphans and the elderly. Ceasefire by various actors in the country is a sign of hope for the whole of Myanmar.
Faccio appello a tutti quanti nel mondo hanno responsabilità politiche a non cedere alla logica.
Instead of sowing seeds
Non
of
venga
death,
mai meno il principio di umanità come cardine del nostro agire quotidiano.
conflicts that involve defenseless civilians and attack schools, hospitals, and humanitarian workers, we cannot allow ourselves to forget that it is not targets that are struck, but persons, each possessed of a soul.
E ci infonde la certezza che anche noi siamo
He fills us with the certainty that we too are called to share in the life that knows alone can make all things new. Happy Easter to everyone. So to be message, we have the blessing.
Grant
The Pope many years as leader of the Church, and peace and unity to the Church throughout the world.
E conceda pace e unità alla Chiesa in tutto il mondo.
Deus, omnipotens Deus, Pater, et Filius, et Spiritus Sancti. Amen.
Now, this is the first time that the Pope has spent some time with prisoners there. And yesterday he did spend also some time in St. Peter's Basilica in prayer. As Pope Francis makes his way. Happy Easter for everyone. These images we typically see when the Pope makes his way through the square. During his Wednesday general audiences, which he did before. This now ends our live broadcast of Easter Sunday Mass in the Urbi et Orbi blessing in St. Peter's Square. My name is Kelsey Gussie, and it is coordinator Massimiliano Medichetti, and all our media partners who made this broadcast possible. A very special thank you to all of you for joining us on this Easter Sunday, and once again from all of us at Vatican. of St. Peter's Basilica, we see the cross, the crucifix being brought out, and Pope Francis making an appearance on the loggia.
Fratelli e sorelle, buona Pasqua.
Dear brothers and sisters, Happy Easter.
Il maestro delle sorelle.
Jesus is not in the tomb, he is alive.
L'amore ha vinto l'odio, la luce ha vinto le tenebre, la verità ha vinto la menzogna, il perdono ha vinto.
It no longer has power over those who accept the grace of this day.
Voi che siete nel dolore e nell'angoscia, il vostro grido silenzioso è stato ascoltato.
Sisters and brothers,
Su di sé tutto il male del mondo.
in the passion and death of Jesus, God has taken upon himself all the evil in this world, and in his infinite mercy has defeated it.
Che avvelena il cuore dell'uomo.
No longer an illusion. Thanks to Christ, crucified and risen from the dead, hope does not disappoint. Spes nos confundit.
Ma impegnativa.
Mighty hand. They let themselves be raised up and set out on a journey.
Testimoni della vittoria dell'amore.
Together with the risen Jesus, they become pilgrims of hope, death, but for life. Easter is the celebration of life. God created us for life and wants the human family to rise again, people to be discarded.
Che interessano diverse parti del mondo.
What a great thirst for death, for killing, we witness each day in the marginalized and migrants.
Ad avere fiducia negli altri, anche in chi non c'è vicino o proviene da terre lontane.
On this day, your customs, ways of life, and ideas. For all of us are children of God.
Che la pace è possibile. Dal sepolcro sono vicino.
May the light of peace radiate throughout the Holy Land and the entire world.
Così come tutto il popolo israeliano e a tutto il popolo palestinese.
I express my closeness to the sufferings of the and its Christian community in particular,
Dove il terribile conflitto continua a generare
where the terrible conflict continues to cause death and destruction and to create a dramatic and deplorable human and humanitarian.
in Libano e in Siria, che mentre quest'ultimo paese sperimenta un passaggio.
Let us pray for the Christian communities in Lebanon and in Syria, presently experiencing a delicate transition in its history.
dello Yemen, che sta vivendo una delle peggiori crisi umanitarie prolungate del
I
mondo.
also think in particular of the people of Yemen, who are experiencing one of the world's most serious war, his Easter gift of peace, and encourage all parties involved to pursue efforts aimed at achieving a just and
In questo giorno di festa pensiamo al Caucaso meridionale e preghiamo affinché si giunga presto alla firma
the region.
di spiriti propositi di concordia nei Balcani occidentali e sostenga gli attori politici.
May the light of Easter inspire efforts to promote harmony in the Western Balkans and sustain political violence and conflict, especially in the Democratic Republic of the Congo, in Sudan and South Sudan. May he sustain those suffering from the
L'esigenza che ogni popolo ha di provvedere
Nor is peace possible without true disarmament.
può trasformarsi
The requirement impels us to break down the barriers that create division and are fraught with grave political and economic
a
consequences.
prenderci cura gli uni degli altri, ad accrescere la solidarietà reciproca, aiuto al popolo birmano, già tormentato da anni di conflitto armato.
During this time, let us not fail to assist the people of Myanmar